This week, the Texans have a bye week. Now, personally, I look at it kind of two ways. The first way I usually look at it is I don't have to worry about the Texans losing that week and letting me down, That's pretty much how it was in the past. And every now and then, I get that little feeling. But ever since we got Deshaun Watson, it's been kind of different. Well, it has been different. Now I actually look forward to watching the Texans games because I know no matter what, Deshaun Watson is going to perform well. And some ways, somehow, we're going to have a chance in any game we play. And that's how it's been lately, and it might be that way for most of the fan base, I feel like. Because, comparing it to the Tom Savage days, the Brock Osweiler days, where you knew damn well what games you were going to win, what games you were going to lose, And, we're playing the Patriots with Brock Osweiler. Yeah, that's a definite loss. We're playing the Chiefs with Brock Osweiler. Yeah, that's an L. We're playing, whatever team with Tom Savage, that's an L. Well, with Deshaun Watson, it's like, what will Watson do this week? So, once Watson got here, the bye weeks, I've kind of been eager to watch the team play again. Especially last year when we beat the Broncos to go 6-3. We went into the bye week. It felt like forever to get to that Redskins game. Even though it was only 2 weeks, it felt like forever. That the gap between the Broncos game and the Redskins game, it just felt too long. It felt like a month, man. And I was just so excited to get to watch the Deshaun Watson-led Texans again. Hopefully, I don't suffer this week. Hopefully, I get to watch the Colts lose to the Miami Dolphins. That'd be freaking hilarious. That would, help kind of calm down my eagerness to watch this team again. And I gotta say, man, 6-3 going into the bye week. That is very good, especially considering that, personally, even though I had the Texans going 11-5 this season, I had them going 4-5 into the bye week. So right now, they're exceeding my expectations. And I know damn well this Texans team is exceeding everyone's expectations. Everyone's. There is not a single person out there that legitimately thought that this Texans team was going to be this good. I knew this team had some flaws coming into the, season, but GM O'Brien kind of cleaned them up. And I saw all over Twitter, man, the Texans are going 4-12. They're going 6-10. 5-11 season, here we come. It's going to be a long, bad season, ain't it? I saw all that on Twitter, on YouTube. Everywhere I saw anything about Texans fans were being little negative Nancy's. And no, this is not about being realistic. You're just a negative Nancy. Because there was legitimately people complaining about every single move the Texans made. Even though it was a good move, they didn't care. It was annoying to be a Texans fan in the off-season because most of the fan base wasn't even giving this team a chance. And I'm like, what, you're just going to brush off Deshaun Watson like that? You're going to ignore what he's done up until this point? There was people complaining about the Laramie Tunsil trade. All off-season, they were crying, we need an offensive line. Bill O'Brien goes and gets the best young left tackle in the NFL, and people were still complaining. So, enough on that. let's get back to talking about this Texans team. 6-3, exceeding expectations. I love it, and one thing I absolutely love is going into the bye week after a big signature win, and that win against Jacksonville in London, a blowout win. In my opinion, that qualifies as a signature win. Now, let's talk about the team in units, starting with the coaching staff. The first 4 games, I'm not going to lie, wasn't pretty. You had Romeo Crennel messing up the New Orleans games. That was just terrible, man. Like, if Romeo Crennel caused a better defense at the end of that game, the Texans would be, 7-2 right now. They'd be talked about as one of the best teams in the NFL. But, Romeo Crennel messed it up. And the following week, they follow it up offensively. The offense just didn't show up. And then, week 3, the team shows flashes against the Chargers. And then week 4 rolls around, and the offense completely laid an egg. So at that point, defense was kind of bad. Offense was extremely inconsistent. So the Texans team was looking like, your typical Texans teams. They might show up one week. They'll get beat by the good teams. But week 5, they played the Falcons, and the offense completely exploded on them. Scored like 50-something points. Well, 40-something, because there was a garbage time pick six by Sean Gibson. But, I don't care. Offense exploded. And then they followed that win up with a signature win against the Chiefs at Arrowhead. And then, they lost to the Colts due to the refs. And then they beat the Raiders when they were extremely injured. And then that past win, the last win, against the Jaguars. Signature win to a blowout win in London. So, yeah, early on, not going to lie, was looking pretty ugly. But here, the last 4 or 5 games, this Texans team, man, it actually looks legit. Legit. And this coaching staff, I gotta give them credit, man. Bill O'Brien against the Chiefs, he outcoached Andy Reid. He got this team ready to go against the Jaguars in London. The Texans had never played in London, and I think that's huge because personally, you guys saw my prediction video. I didn't think this Texans team was going to be ready for that game, but Bill O'Brien, Romeo Crennel, they did their job. They got this team ready, and they went to London, and they showed out. Honestly, I think Bill O'Brien deserves a lot of credit, man. And I was never a guy that would blame Bill O'Brien for every single little thing, because I know there's people out there that anything goes wrong, man, F Bill O'Brien, blah, 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 blah. I was never one of those people, but I was also not one of those people that were like, oh my god, Bill O'Brien's the best thing ever. I was kind of neutral. I was kind of wait and see, and so far, Bill O'Brien has exceeded my expectations. Romeo Crennel, he's kind of gotten better as the season has gone on. Of course, the Garyon Conley trade probably helped him out these past 2 weeks. He's going to get Bradley Roby back. He's going to get Sean Gibson back. And let's talk about Mike Devlin, bro. Wow. Who would have thought that Tubby was actually going to be serviceable? Because this offensive line has improved tremendously. And I'm not one to believe that, it's just talent alone. Let's keep the same energy. We were bashing Mike Devlin all the time for having those terrible offensive lines. Well, let's give them credit for having a good offensive line now. Obviously, we have more talent on the O-line, but like I said, let's keep the same energy. Mike Devlin, the coaching staff, Carl Smith coaching up Deshaun Watson, Tim Kelly working with O'Brien on offensive game plans. It's all coming together, man. I absolutely love it. Now let's talk about the quarterback position. Deshaun Watson. I mean, he's Deshaun Watson. Like, the dude's an MVP candidate this year. I believe it was Matt Hammond. He said it on Twitter. Coaches are now starting to use Deshaun Watson as an excuse for why they lost. Go back to the Raiders game. After the Raiders game, the press conference, John Gruden, he said, that's Deshaun Watson. You can't stop him. And then Doug Marrone this last week after we beat the Jaguars, he said something around the lines of, our guys didn't make a bad play because they were there to bring Watson down. Watson just made a good play. So, Matt Hammond said it, man. Deshaun Watson is so good that other coaches are now using Deshaun Watson being so damn good as an excuse for why they lost. That's crazy, man. Like, having a quarterback this good. Now let's move on to the running backs. Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. Especially Duke Johnson these past few weeks getting involved in the passing game more. Man, hate to say it. You guys know I'm not like the biggest Lamar Miller fan. I think he's average and he could be decent with a good offensive line. But low-key, and I hate to say it, but it's true, Lamar Miller getting hurt was a blessing in disguise for this team. Carlos Hyde fits the scheme way better. He's a power back. Lamar Miller, he wasn't a power back, but they were using him as a power back. And then they also brought in Duke Johnson. And Duke Johnson, he's the receiving back that Bill O'Brien has been looking for since he got here. He tried with Tyler Ervin, and that didn't work out. He tried with other ones, and they didn't work out. Now you got Duke Johnson, and Duke Johnson these past few weeks, like I said, he's been involved more in the passing game, and I absolutely love it. I love the Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson duo. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I mean, there's not much else I can say. Let's talk about the tight ends now. Darren Fells, when we signed him, I liked the signing. Not gonna lie. But I just thought he was gonna, come in here and just be an extra blocker, kind of like a sixth offensive lineman who can every, now and then go out there and catch a pass. But he's been way more than that. He's been a huge red zone threat. He's been one of Watson's favorite targets, and hey, man, I'm all for it. He's getting paid like $1 million to ball out like that. I believe he leads the league in touchdowns by a tight end. So yeah, he's been doing good. And Akins, inconsistent, but every now and then he gets first down. So I mean, I guess I can live with it. I expect him to be cut next offseason, and Jordan Thomas and Kahali Waring are going to take over, and I expect the Texans to re-sign Darren Fells. So, very satisfied with the tight end group as well. Now let's talk about the offensive line, man. I mean, it could be because of Tunsil, the addition of Tunsil, but personally, and I don't think anyone thought this Texans offensive line was going to be this good this fast. Now, I know if you look at the sack numbers, it's going to say 25. I wouldn't trip about it because they allowed 18 the first 4 weeks, and they've allowed 7 these last 5 weeks. Keep in mind, Tytus Howard missed 2.5 games. Laramie Tunsil missed 1 game. So haven't exactly been healthy, the offensive line, but still, they've been performing well, and they're only going to get better. I mean, Laramie Tunsil, he's a stud, best young left tackle in the NFL. Max Sharping, probably our weak link right now, but he's a rookie. He's going to get better. He has, a bunch of moments where he flashes, and he looks extremely good. Nick Martin, man. I was low-key kind of pissed when we re-signed him to that pretty big contract. He was like, 33 mil for 3 years? I was pissed, but hey, man. The guy's been earning his money. He's been very good. I guess all you need is talent around you as a center, maybe. Who knows? Zach Fulton, he's been decent. I mean, that's what he is. He's just an average offensive guard. He's nothing spectacular. He could definitely get better, but you can also get worse. I mean, look at Jeff Allen from a couple years back. So, yeah, I mean, I'm satisfied with the O-line. Titus Howard been balling out as well. I believe Titus Howard is the best rookie offensive lineman, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of pass block win grade. I think that's what it's called. Or pass block efficiency. One of those two, maybe both of them. But, yeah, I mean, everybody, including myself, was kind of triggered when Titus Howard got drafted, but hey, man, the guy is really balling out, and it's looking like the Texans have their 2 starting offensive tackles for the next 10 years, and I love it. Wide receivers, I mean, just the usual. D-Hop balling out. Fuller's hurt. Newly acquired Kenny Stills has been a pretty big addition for us. Kiki QT. He's been messing up routes, and Bill O'Brien said, attention to detail. And I'm assuming he's talking about the routes because, let's not lie, guys. I know a lot of us like Kiki QT. I love Kiki QT. And a lot of people were pissed, like, why isn't O'Brien putting in Kiki QT? Well, Kiki was just messing up, and it was kind of noticeable. I mean, I noticed it a few times. I think the biggest one was against the Chiefs. If you guys recall, one of the interceptions Deshaun Watson threw, like, Kiki QT was in the same spot that Will Fuller was at, and it ended up being an interception. Like, the guy that was covering Kiki picked the ball off because Kiki wasn't supposed to be there, And he did that a few more times, like, Kiki QT was in the same area as Will Fuller. He was in the same area as DeAndre Hopkins. That's what Bill O'Brien means by attention to detail. At least that's what I think is what he was talking about, if that makes sense. But wide receiver group, I'm satisfied with it. I mean, this season, DeAndre, he doesn't really have the numbers, but to be fair, Deshaun has gotten better as a quarterback, so he's really been spreading the ball out way more. I mean, Duke Johnson, the tight ends. We got Kenny Stills as well getting involved, so yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take away points from DeAndre Hopkins. Plus, D-Hop already said he don't care about the stats. He just cares about winning. Winning is fun for him, so I ain't going to trip about that. Now, the D-line, we did lose J.J. Watt, but, I mean, and linebackers too. Let's talk about linebackers too. D-line and linebackers, front 7. I feel like they've been doing a good job, man. We're one of the top-ranked teams in terms of stopping the run. So anytime you can stop the run, that front 7 is doing good. Pass rush-wise, well, we lost JJ, so now we have a bunch of tubbies kind of rushing the passer. But, hey, we got, 3 sacks against Jacksonville, so who knows? Maybe it works. Charles Omenihu who's been balling out. DJ Reader having a great season. He's about to get paid big money, and I don't mind it because I really like DJ Reader. But overall, the front 7, B-Mac, Scarlett had a good game against the Jaguars, Cunningham. Our front 7 has been solid. Let's talk about the secondary, though, man. Joseph sucks. He has to retire. He's a liability. Lonnie Johnson, he's a rookie. There will be growing pains. He's struggled some, but he's also done some good things. Roby, damn. Was not expecting Roby to be good at all, man. But Roby has really proved me wrong, and I'm glad that he's proved me wrong. The guy was balling out before he got hurt. Garyon Conley, he's going to be a stud with us, man. 2 games in. And I think he might even be better than Roby. Because even though Roby is sticky in coverage, well, Conley is also sticky in coverage. Except the difference between Roby and Conley is Conley doesn't give up on the play. The dude will fight to rip the ball out. And he's done it like 3 or 4 times in just 2 games. Roby, whenever he gets beat, the guy catches it, he just makes a tackle. I hardly ever see him going for the ball. So that's the difference between Roby and Conley. But they're both good in my opinion. And I think if we re-sign Roby to like a 2-3-year deal, I think we'll be pretty good at our starting outside corner spots. And in terms of safeties, I mean, Justin Reed, early on he had that shoulder injury. You know, that shoulder was really bothering him for like the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. So it really affected his tackling. You know, he was missing tackles, not wrapping up properly, but it's healed. And these past few games, Justin Reed has been playing at an extremely high level, and I love it. Gibson, he was doing his thing, shutting down tight ends. He was doing a good job too, until he got hurt. He missed 2 games, I believe, against Jacksonville and Indy, but he was doing a good job. And someone that doesn't really get much recognition, Jalil Adai. Now, he does a good job in run support, but whenever we signed him, and I already knew this about him, Adai was just a guy who would be there for run support. But he's exceeded my expectations as a coverage guy. Yeah, every now and then he gets beat. But still, though, I thought this guy was going to be garbage. But he's been playing very well for us, man. And I love it. So overall, man, I feel like every, I guess, unit on this team, except for the front 7, because I was expecting the front 7 to do their thing, and maybe Deshaun Watson, every position on this team has really exceeded my expectations, man, from top to bottom. Coaching staff, even the front office, you know, Bill O'Brien being the GM, he's exceeded my expectations. You know, started off kind of rough with the trading Clowney for a Mango and Jacob Martin, even though Jacob Martin's been nice for us. But, hey, man, he's been doing a good job as a GM. He's been doing a good job as a coach. But now he's got to, you know, do more. All this season, Bill O'Brien has been proving people wrong. But now, these next 3 weeks, after the bye week, like, this is his biggest test. He's at Baltimore. Thursday Night Football for the Colts. Sunday Night Football against New England. You're playing 3... I'm not even going to say possible. You're playing 3 playoff teams in back-to-back-to-back weeks. If the Texans go 0-3, same old Texans. If they go 1-2, same old Texans. If they go 2-1, great. If they go 3-0, amazing. Amazing. These next 3 games will be huge for Bill O'Brien and the Texans. Let's see what happens after the bye week, but as of right now, extremely satisfied, man. I'm just going to enjoy the bye week and hope that the Colts, Titans, and Jaguars lose just so I could make fun of them. Actually, the Jaguars have a bye week, so I don't know why I said them. But the Colts and Titans, I hope they lose. It would be hilarious. I mean, the Titans play the Chiefs, so they're probably going to lose. But if the Colts lose to the Dolphins, man, that'd be freaking hilarious. But I don't see it happening. But still, man, I am very satisfied with this team. And hopefully they're able to beat Baltimore, Indy, and New England. That'd be awesome. You know, we'd be 9-3. We'd be in the driver's seat for a first round bye. But, let's see what this team does, man. I'm actually curious because, like I said at the start of the video, with Deshaun Watson, you're in every single game. Like, if I look at the schedule, there is not a single game on the schedule that I'm going to say, that's definitely a loss, because I know damn well, with Deshaun Watson, there's always a chance. And I will never, ever, ever bet against Deshaun Watson. I might bet against Bill O'Brien and Romeo Crennel, but against Watson, he's going to make sure we're in every game. So, now let's just enjoy the bye weekend. Have fun. Take the week off. Make fun of other teams for sucking and stuff. And, yeah, that's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.